In today's talent marketplace, everybody is looking for new ways to make the best hiring and promotion decisions. Bradley Daye of Placemaking 4G is here to discuss how leaders can increase the number of diverse candidates that they hire and promote. So, Bradley, I guess the biggest question is, how does a company ensure that they're hiring from the widest possible talent pool?
One big major aspect in that is how are we creating equitable processes? There's a lot of different ways that you can come at that. One of the things that we really encourage and work with organizations on is making sure that there's salary transparency. A lot of folks, when they look at an opportunity, might not feel comfortable reaching out to the recruiter, reaching out to the organization to get a sense of what that salary range might be. Also, leading with the values of an organization will really attract people beyond the skill sets that are needed for the roles, but what values do you share? It'll allow people to connect with the heart of the organization as opposed to just the skills.
Where do you recommend a company even begins their journey with regards to diversity and inclusion?
It shouldn't really start from representation. When you just add folks into your organization that might bring very unique perspectives without your why, without establishing why you're doing that, it could actually further perpetuate damage within that community or further perpetuate any tensions or frictions between individuals. So I think an organization really needs to know why they care about it because the individuals on their staff, the individuals in their communities, they know why they care about these very important things that are affecting everybody's lives.
How do you think companies can maintain a culture of evolving inclusiveness?
Evolving, that's a great word. I'm going to pull that out of there because, one of the things that we look at is not just best practices, but what are better practices. And I think, it's not about having perfect steps, it's about continuing to take steps. Whether that be through your strategy work, whether that be, first establishing your why, whether that be representation, whether that be all of the different, cultural sensitivity training, education that you can provide, reconciliation with all of these things, as long as you're taking steps in a direction and there's buy-in from senior leadership team all the way through the organization and measuring that, then that's a really great place to kind of keep focused on. It's about the journey.
How can a senior leadership team ensure that they're supporting all communities within an organization?
I don't know if that's possible. I think that which communities are you in? Which communities do you have relationships with? Which communities do you serve? And how do you best serve those communities? I think when you look at your capacity, when you look at your makeup of your organization, when you look at who you serve, are you actually doing your best to serve that community? One of the things that I believe in and abide by is when we're talking about community spaces, if we don't have everybody in that community as a voice and involved in that space, can we really call it a community space? So you have to know what your community is, and then you can look at what voices need to be there.
Is trying to adopt a more human centric culture at work the answer?
Absolutely. I've been having a lot of conversations about this in particular lately. And it's interesting that we have to remind ourselves that we're human beings. We work in HR. And if you even break down that term, human resources, it allows us to treat humans like resources. So we've even changed our language away from that. Instead of calling it human resources, we call it human dynamics because humans are dynamic. And that's why we've named our company Placemaking, because we're looking at it from a human centric. How can we design places that people want to be, sticky places, a sense of belonging and celebration of our uniqueness?
What are some of your key tips to organizations in improving their hiring practices?
Understand your capacity. Recruiting is a lot of work. And sometimes we don't necessarily have capacity within our HR teams. And sometimes we need to expand outside of our normal processes and just be open to new perspectives, new ideas, invest in recruiters and invest in things that are outside of your normal purview. Whatever got us here won't get us there. So sometimes you just have to be creative. Sometimes you just have to be open-minded to new ways of doing things and invest outside of your organization for support in that.